Hello, my name is John Bannon. I'm an attorney and philosopher. In today's video, I'm going to explain why the atemporal creation of our block universe is falsifiable science. Now, um, I take the position that our universe is a static block universe without cause and effect in physics. I take that position based on the proof of Swedish theoretical physicist Dr. Johan Hansen, which you can find in the peer-reviewed physics journal Physics Essays, volume 33, number 2, June of 2020, on pages 216 to 218. It is entitled Bell's Theorem and Its Tests, Proof that Nature is Superdeterministic, Not Random. So Dr. Hansen proved that we live in three dimensions of space and one hidden static dimension of time in a fourth dimensional block universe that doesn't have cause and effect in physics in it, or physical causation, or probabilistic causation. Instead, it consists of static particles that are set like pebbles in concrete. You can't move them, you can't change them, they're permanent, but they create patterns over the static dimension of time. And those patterns we describe through our logical and mathematical laws of physics. So, in a Hansonian static block universe, all events, whether in the past, present, or future, are equally real, and they all presently exist, and they're permanent. Now, some people will argue that Uh, this block universe is simply a brute fact, that it's eternal, and you don't need a God to explain its existence. So, what I would say to those people is that's not true because our static block universe was created outside of space time or atemporally created by a God. And I can show various arguments and evidence for the atemporal creation of our static block universe. However, these critics would then say, but atemporal creation is not falsifiable science. So, as between a brute fact universe and an atemporally created universe, it makes more sense to believe in a brute fact universe since that requires fewer additional assumptions. However, they are completely wrong. Atemporal creation of the block universe is, in fact, falsifiable science. Now, this video is going to explain why that is the case. So, very recently, physicists have shown that virtual particles play a role in real particle collisions. Now, you can find that paper entitled Measuring Spin Correlation Between Quarks During QCD Confinement at the physics journal Nature, volume 65, pages 65 to 71, February 4th, 2026. So these physicists have shown that virtual particles play a role in real particle collisions. But virtual particles under quantum mechanics are mathematical constructs. They are not real particles. That's why they're called virtual. So, because virtual particles, these mathematical constructs, play a role in real particle collisions, that shows you that this transcendent mathematics or logic uh, in virtual particles is actually real and an aspect of what happens in particle collisions, real particle collisions. But because virtual particles themselves aren't an actual real particle, then this is indicating the metaphysical reality of this transcendent logic or mathematics that underlies the structure of our real universe consisting of real particles. So, the scientists, physicists have just shown recently that real particles follow a transcendent logic or mathematics, specifically the mathematics of virtual particles under quantum mechanics. Because this transcendent logic or mathematical blueprint for particle collisions exists independently of physical matter, then the transcendent logic must exist prior to the existence of the block universe itself. So, because a virtual particle isn't a real particle, then real particle collisions following the transcendent logic of virtual particles are following something that's not inherent in the real particle itself. It's not a property of the real particle. It can't be because it's a property of a virtual particle, which isn't real by definition. Which means if the block universe is structured to follow a transcendent mathematics or logic, then logically that transcendent mathematics or logic must precede in existence our static block universe, which is based on it. So the existence of this transcendent logic or mathematics displayed by virtual particles must be prior to the existence of our static block universe. And that requires the atemporal creation of our static block universe in conformity with that transcendent logic. So, because virtual particles are falsifiable science, then the atemporal creation of our static block universe must also be falsifiable science. So the fact that physicists have demonstrated the role that virtual particles play in real particle positions is science. I mean, it's in a science physics journal, right? So because that is science, then the existence of this transcendent logic is scientifically falsifiable, which means that because the static block universe must be atemporally created in conformity with this transcendent logic, then atemporal creation itself must be falsifiable science based on the science of virtual particles. So there you go. Atemporal creation of the static block universe by God is in fact falsifiable science. So, as between the idea of the universe being a brute fact versus atemporally created, then science says it's atemporally created. So, so atemporal creation is not an unnecessary additional assumption. It's a necessary assumption based on the science of virtual particles. Now, the reason I say that our static block universe was created by God is because if you have the simultaneous creation of the entire whole static block universe uh, from nothing, then nothing has no power to create the static block universe without cause and effect in physics under superdeterminism. So that means something else has the power to create static block universe uh, outside of space time. But whatever that is, it would have to know of and understand everything in the static block universe in order to create it. And that includes all the advanced technologies that exist in the static block universe. So, whatever created the static block universe atemporally would have to know of and understand the most advanced technologies in the universe, which means that creator has to be supremely intelligent. That means the creator has to be God. So there you go. The atemporal creation of our static block universe by God is science. It's not just some philosophical argument. All right. I hope you learned something, and I'll give you a second to read the board. All right. Until next time, take care.